Hello, my name is Jose from the West Coast, and today I'm filming a video called The Names I Love But Didn't Use. I am currently pregnant with my second child, and I'm having a girl, and I am 32 weeks pregnant. So, let's get started. I'm going to start with girl names first. I have 11 names here, and a lot of these names I've loved since childhood. So the very first name that I thought of when I was a little girl was Stephanie. I get the name Stephanie from the show Full House. That was one of my favorite shows as a kid. And Stephanie Tanner was my favorite character. She actually still is, like, even in Fuller House. I've just always loved the personality of that character. So that is the first name. The second name is Kristine. I can't really say where I thought of that name. I just always thought it was cute, and I always wanted to spell it with a K. I think it's because I had a best friend in high school named Christina. So that's the second name. The third name is Mariah. I feel like I knew a little girl named Mariah when I was growing up, and also, of course, Mariah Carey. So I've always loved that name. The fourth name is Jasmine. And of course I got that from Aladdin. I just loved the way it sounded and the fact that it's a flower. So I always thought that was really pretty. Another name I've always loved is Jade. I knew a little girl when I was growing up. Her name was Jadey. But I always thought Jade could be like a super cute name for a daughter. A name that I thought of in high school that I really liked is Paige. That name did not fly for my first daughter with her dad. And so that name just never came through. But I always thought I was going to name my daughter Paige Kristine. And it like I said, it's not happening. But anyway. Okay, so more recent, well, I guess another name that I probably came up with when I was younger was Autumn. Autumn was my favorite season growing up. I've loved orange most of my life. Ever since middle school, orange has been my favorite color. And I always loved the crisp leaves and Halloween and spooky season and all that. But now that I live in a snowy climate, I'm not really the biggest fan of autumn anymore. I kind of get anxiety when I think of autumn coming, because it's like, oh, winter's coming right after that. And I feel like also our autumn is very short. We have very hot summers, and then all of a sudden the leaves start dying, and then it starts snowing. Another name that I really liked in high school, and I knew another girl with this name, is Olivia. I just thought it was always really cute, and our friends called her Olive. It was just really cute. Names that I thought of recently, like within the past few years. First is Sophia. I had a doll when I was a little girl and I named her Sophia. I don't know if it was the name on the box or if I just named her that, but the reason I never named my second baby Sophia is because my coworker's wife just had a baby 3 months ago and named her Sophia. So I was like, I can't do it. That's too awkward. Another name that I recently thought of is Georgia. I don't know. I just really like the sound of it. I think it's super cute. And so that was another name that didn't work out. And then last is Isabelle. I wasn't going to use that name for her first name, but for her middle name, because when Tim and I found out we were having a girl, he came up with the girl's first name, like, immediately. And so I needed a name that went with that name. And Isabelle was going to be it. But I'll tell you guys later the story behind that. So now on to the boy names. The first boy name that I always thought I was going to use for my son was Zachary. My cousin named one of his sons Zachary when I was really young. I don't even remember how old I was. But I just remember he was such a cute little boy. And I thought, oh, Zachary, like, that's going to be the name of my son when I get older. The second name that I came up with when I was young was Christian. So I always thought my boy's name was either going to be Christian Zachary or Zachary Christian. But anyway. And then another name I always loved, I think it was a character on one of the soap operas. I grew up watching soap operas. But the third name was Mateo. Mateo. I always loved that name so much. And then a name that I came up with probably within the last 10 years, back when I was really like into going to church and reading the Bible, is David. I really liked how that sounded. But the reason it wasn't going to work out for this, even if I had a boy, is because Tim's dad and brother are already named David. So we would have had 3 Davids in the family. That's a lot. So I didn't even I don't think I even mentioned that name before we knew we were having a girl. So I have a couple names that I thought of, I had basically been introduced to recently. And the first one is Chester. I met someone named Chester 3 years ago, and he was the sweetest elderly man. His wife always called him Chet, and I thought that would be the cutest nickname for my son. So I always loved, I've been, not always, but the past, 3 years, whatever, I've really liked that name. And then a name that I heard of, probably 2 months before I found out I was pregnant, is Thorovold. I'd never heard that name in my life, but he goes by Thor, and I thought, oh, that is so cool, So that was another name for the boys. And then a name that I just thought of, well, it's I thought of it a lot, but because it's one syllable, I wasn't sure what the nickname would be, is Jack. And so that name was hard to stick to because I'm like, what would his nickname be? I wouldn't want to call him Jackie. So, yeah. But anyways, I think that name's pretty cute. The 8th name is Spencer. I just like the way that name sounds. There's nothing really attached to it. I had a coworker named Spencer, so I was like, there's no way I'm naming my son Spencer. Because that was just super awkward, but I thought that name was cool. And then another name that I heard of probably 12 years ago, maybe, within the last 10 years, was Ezekiel. I knew this little boy, and he went by Zeke, and I thought that was the cutest thing. So that was another name that I had thought would be good for a boy. And then lastly was Charlie. That name has been a name I've liked since childhood. I feel like it was from a TV show. This little boy, he had red hair. I always thought I was going to have a red-haired little boy. I don't even know why. And his name was going to be Charlie. So that's the story behind that. And then now I'm going to tell you guys what the baby's name actually is. So when we were throwing out baby names before we knew the gender, one of the names that really stuck out that Tim came up with was Relena. And so I knew when we found out we were having a girl, her name was going to be Relena. And originally I thought, because he told me that I could come up with the middle name, originally I thought I was going to pick Relena Isabelle. And then I was talking about it with my daughter. And there was another name that I've really liked for a long time, but I wasn't going to use for whatever reason. So one day I was talking to my daughter and she goes, "Mom, you need to give her a more fancy name. How about Beatrice?" And I was like, yep, that's it. Beatrice is it, because it's another name that I've loved for a while. And so her name is going to be Relena Beatrice. But anyways, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching, and have a great day.